Morning. Welcome to morning meeting. So here's what's on my mind this morning. Story time. Because stories are important and it's how we all learn. So here's a story for you. Years ago, I worked for an organization that took care of children. Did all kinds of summer programs, school, after school programs, yada, yada, yada. But I'm not going to mention the organization. And I was in charge of a group of kids, and they all were white kids. And that's just a function of where I was working and living, predominantly white environment. So all the kids are white. And these kids, I'm not just saying this because it's me, they loved me. These children loved me because I was fun. I was fun, Kori. I was the fun teacher. They loved me. And so we all were going to a pool on this particular day because it was kind of hot. So we were going to go swimming. So we went to a local pool, and we're all having a good time and playing in the water, sitting out of the water, blah, blah, what you do at a pool, right? So I'm sitting with a couple of the kids, and several of them are in the pool, and they're getting out. And I'm like, what are they doing? And they're kind of rushing over to me. And like, Kori, 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 Kori. I'm like, what? What's the problem? That guy over there. I'm like, what guy? They were pointing to this white guy who happened to be with a little boy. I didn't know the relationship between these two people at the time. I mean, like right then when we were having this conversation. But it turned out that I think the boy was his nephew or something. But anyway, white guy with the boy. And my students, my young people said, Kori, what are all those tattoos on his body? What do those mean? I said, I looked over at the guy and I went, I don't know. Maybe you should go ask him what all those tattoos mean. I don't know. So my boys, because it was a couple boys, like 3 or 4 boys, scurry over to this guy and start talking to him and asking him questions. And I'm just watching and I'm like, kind of giggling a little bit to myself because I'm like, I know good and well what these tattoos mean. I've seen them before, been there, done that, got the t-shirt. I know exactly what these tattoos represent, but they didn't, and I didn't want to tell them. So I was like, no, go ask him. Have him explain to you what these things mean. So the boys do that and they come back. They sit down to me like, he said that they all mean like white pride, and he's proud of being white and nationalism. Now, keep in mind, this is back in, I want to say, the 90s that this is happening, and it's in the summer. And so they had more questions. They're like, why would he have those? And I'm like, go ask him. I really don't know. Go ask him. So the boys scurry back over to this man, sit down and are chatting with him, and then they come back. And I'm like, why does he hate you so much? That was them saying this to me. Not making this shit up. I can't make this shit up. I was floored, right? Like, why does he hate you just because you're not white? Why does he hate you because you're black? Why does he hate you? I'm like, I really don't know. I don't have the answer to that for you. And I wasn't going to send them back over for, a third visit with this person. I wasn't going to do that. Wanted to, but I didn't. I'm like, yeah, just let it go. Don't worry about it. We're here to have fun. Let's just have some fun, right? Let's get back in the water. Let's have some fun. So we get back in the water and we're all splashing around having a good time. And my boys that are in this group all start to surround me. All of them are surrounding me. And one of them is like, he's right there. He's right there. Because the boy and the man had gotten in the water. And one of my boys was like, he's right there. He might hurt you. And they were so concerned about my safety. They were so worried about my safety because they knew me, right? I was their teacher, the person they trusted, the person that they loved and they cared about. And they were worried that this white man with these white pride symbols all over his body, walking billboard of hate, was going to harm me in some way. And I said to him, I made eye contact with that man and I said to my kids, don't worry. They always and only attack in numbers. They will never attack me when they're on their own, when it's one-on-one. That will never happen. That will never happen. And I was looking at the man when I was saying it. And my kids were like, oh, okay. We ended up leaving for the day. We're in the van, driving back to where we need to go. And my kids were still unsettled by this. They were really unsettled. And they said to me, Kori, what would you have done if he would have attacked you? And I said, remember, they only attack in numbers. But I can tell you that one of us would not have made it that day. it wouldn't have been me in trouble, because he is fighting for hate and I'm fighting for my life. And that is a very different thing. And there's this collective silence, and a breath went out. These little white kids were seriously upset by this experience of seeing this man who hated me for no reason other than the color of my skin. And they couldn't understand it, and there wasn't anything I could do to help them understand it. And do you want to know why? It's because white people need to talk to white people about the collective problem that is hating people because of the color of their skin or the way that they speak. That's a you problem. You being white people, not a me problem, me being a non-white person. There's nothing I can do about that particular problem. I've said it before and I'm saying it again. But that's what's happening to children all over the place. People are indoctrinating them, and then they come out confused. These kids came from families where the N-word was bantered about, no big deal. We had those conversations. I actually had those conversations with these kids because I had an older group of kids. I didn't have young kids. My kids were in the 10 to 12-year-old range. So we had those conversations. And what I'm encouraging you to do is have some of those hard conversations. If you don't believe that this stuff is okay, then your kids need to know it's not okay. And your kids' friends need to know where you stand and that it's not okay. That's my advice. Story time's over for the week. See ya.